What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XCN OnyxCoin today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Here we are at 209,121 for the moment, at least. There we go. See, it just changed. We've had every opportunity over the last 3 days to see some kind of recovery. Bitcoin moved sideways for 2 days. It's moving up today. Probably isn't going to move up too much higher, but if it does, 86.5K is where we're looking for. I'm not impressed by this movement up. I don't know how many people are. Maybe some people are. Maybe they're not. But I do believe we still have lower to go. And there are some things that look good in Bitcoin's chart. Let's just be honest right now. There are some things that look good, but ultimately, I think that we have to wait till we go a little bit lower until we have some resolution there. 0.09122 right now, 12 something, whatever. If Bitcoin drops as much as I think it will, XCN will likely drop more than 20% from here. So with that in mind, that would take us to that 007 range. We would forsake the land of the rising sun, and we'd bring great shame to our households. And that's okay. This is an area that we long expected to hold us up, but we have reasons to find support down here as well. I don't want to take February 3rd into account. Let's look at this fib going all the way back here. Let's go on a weekly time frame. Right. If we're looking at this here from a weekly high to a weekly low there, we could go down and find support at the 1272, which is at 0.06574. We could find support somewhere in between, or even just below the 1-for-1-4 at 0.008, or just a little bit below there. That's fine. We don't going down. It's not the same rules as coming up. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes, like with coming to the upside of the 1-for-1-4, it's very common to find resistance just above the 1-for-1-4, not right at it. Sometimes you do, but sometimes you don't. Coming from the upside, finding support right at it is actually a lot more common. So something between 0.008 to 0.0657. I do expect / anticipate that any price below this area here, below, and that's not even a proper representation, below this area here, whatever price happens below that area will be very short-lived. I don't think that it's going to be strong-lived at all. And of course, I can be wrong. XCN can move up, but to prove me wrong, to invalidate the notions that we're going lower, really at this point, what we need to see is price above like 1.1 cents, 1.2 cents. I think 1.2 cents is really the key area there. And if you don't agree with that, at least get on board with like it was 1.375 cents. Something anywhere and everywhere in between. If we're at like 1.4 cents or higher, you can't argue that we're likely going higher and that this would be the low. But until then, I've got no reason to suspect that. If I'm suspecting Bitcoin moves down, why would this move up? Not that it can't, but why would it? Oftentimes altcoins move down more if Bitcoin's moving down. If we're looking at XCN versus BTC on that note, let's just see how she's looking. XCN, BTC. We'd put this on a short-term basis, 4-hour basis. Looking pretty bearish. Higher highs here, lower highs here throughout the whole range, right? Looking like you want to go to the oversold zone and go down. If you do, that would likely imply a drop. That's, let's see, from a low to a high. Likely something that would be, come on now, anything from like a 10% drop to potentially a 16.5% drop versus Bitcoin. If Bitcoin drops 12%, you're probably going to see XCN drop 20% or so or more. And that would bring a drop about, let's see, what would a 20% drop be again? That'd be right there, 0.072. More than that, 28% maybe. That's right in that kind of bottom of the area there. So skeptical, but at the same time kind of revolving or rotating more into the belief more than ever that we will indeed take out 0.008 and see lower prices. So prepare yourselves for that. There's not a whole lot in the way of significance price. Sorry, hold on, let me delete this here. There's not a whole lot in the way of significance in this price action here on a daily basis or even on a 4-hour basis, right? Right, it's just kind of straight up, so it's a very good possibility that you could even go lower than this, but I don't think that we will. Seeing something, if Bitcoin drops 12%, I have a hard time seeing this thing drop all the way down here, dropping 50% or more. I have a hard time seeing that, so I'm not in that camp. So let's go back and look to the left here and see what we can come up with, right? If we're at this area, let's put a line right there and just see what we can come up with, and anything from there to 0.008, right? That's what we're looking for, something kind of in that range. A little bit of resistance there, support here in this kind of little pivot right here, right whenever you broke out, found some resistance in prior areas of support here. You've got reasons to find support here, but it's really not a whole lot. So I'm thinking that this would definitely have to be some kind of fake out, as in whenever we get to this area, we either have to get in and get out immediately, it has to be a fake out. Or if it's substantiated, if we continue to close prices down here, and we dilly-dally it all down here, you guys, we've got a different conversation to have. Okay, we might be in trouble with XCN, but I'm not thinking that's what's going to happen. I'm just being honest with you. I'm just saying what I'm seeing in the charts here. Okay, and the main reason why I have a have a hard time seeing that is the same reason why I have a hard time seeing us find support here. Is that I don't think Bitcoin goes that low. I don't think Bitcoin moves up from here. I think that it still does go lower. So therefore, I think that we're going to go down. But for XCN to drop 50%, man, I mean, if it's the coin that we think it's going to be, Bitcoin would either have to drop more than I expect it to drop, or XCN would have to be some kind of flop. And you know, either possibilities are possible, but they're not likely. The likelihood is that we would go just a little bit lower than this low, somewhere down here. It'd be a quick rip to the downside, quick rip to the upside, and we probably don't even close multiple days, if any day, below 0.008, if I really had to guess. But time will tell. We'll see how it goes. XCN is known for these immaculate bounces right off of off of its low points. Right, this last move here was a 30% move. This one I think was like 27%. We've had some 70%, 80%, or at least 50% moves, stuff like that throughout this range as well. So we'll see how it goes from the low. I definitely am expecting some kind of rapid recovery. If we're looking at this again from the point of Bitcoin, yes, looking at it from here, the RSI does look bearish. Looks like we'll drop versus Bitcoin. 1 hour time frame looking bearish, looking like it does want to continue to drop lower. So even if Bitcoin goes up, that doesn't necessarily mean XCN has to move up, or maybe it does just at a slower pace here. Daily time frame, we do have bullish divergence on the horizon right here. I mean, it's right there. We've got higher lows here. We're in the oversold zone. Lower lows here. We're basically there. All we have to do is get a day to close green, and we've confirmed bullish divergence, and that could be the end of that, right? You've gotten overbought, worked your way down all the way to the oversold zone very methodically. You're finally there, and now you have bullish divergence, perhaps to end it all. We are at areas where, in Bitcoin terms, we are at areas where it would make a lot of sense to find support, right? And this could be what holds us up in the US dollar range, and that kind of area of nonsense right there, where it wouldn't make too much sense to find support. But if you do get a fake out low, it might make more sense. Something that's rather insignificant, right? Which is kind of what I think we're going to be due for. I think that this next move is going to scare people. We'll see if it does. We'll see if it doesn't. I don't know. A lot of you guys seem to be brave, but whenever we're at the lows, I know it's harder to be brave. So we'll see what people do if you're still here in a week from now. But, you know, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I would say any price below 0.008 is probably just a prime buying opportunity. 0.008 and below is not guaranteed. We do not have to go that low, but that seems to be the call at the moment, so we're going to stick with that. Looks like we're losing value versus Bitcoin. Bitcoin looks like it's going down. If that's happening and Bitcoin goes down 12% or more, like I think it will, and let's just see actually if it goes all the way down here, that's about 14, 15%, then it's very likely that XCN does see prices lower than 20% from where it is, which means 0.072 or lower is the expectation, at least as of now. So I've got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and I'll see you on the next one. Very, very much, I believe that we will see targets above 20 cents, or at least around there, by the end of this next move, which will reach full maturity by the end of May, or likely by the end of June, somewhere in that time frame. And that's all I got. So take it easy, you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye. And if anything, you know, just wait. Just be patient. Wait. We've gone through a lot. Don't mess it up now and sell at the lows. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but selling the lows is never a good thing. Even if you anticipate the price to go lower, you could always be wrong. It just takes one catalyst, one moment, and then we're through the roof again. So don't mess with it here. At least I'm not messing with it here. Do whatever you want to do. Not financial advice, but I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.